on to Best Actor. Okay, so the first person that I want to mention for Best Actor is going to be Christian Bale for Ford versus Ferrari. He's the one probably out of these five that I'm least passionate about getting nominated, but I do think his performance was exceptional in the film. Christian Bale always delivers an excellent performance. He gives it his all. And this one, he didn't have to lose or gain a dramatic amount of weight, which is nice. But he really embodied that character, I feel like. You felt his emotion in every scene. There's a scene where, Matt Damon has to tell him he's not going to be at the race. And it was so hard to watch the acting between both of them, but Bale's performance of taking that rejection but still wanting to do his job, it just hit really hard.
I was going to throw a wrench at him. What the fuck you say to me, mate? All right, let me throw in my honorable mention and then my number one.
Okay. I didn't have an honorable mention for this category, but
my honorable mention would be the kid from Jojo Rabbit, Roman Griffin Davis. This kid's literally, I forgot, what was that kid's name from Wonder?
Jacob Tremblay.
Those two, depending on the routes they're taking their careers, those two, they might make it if they continue to be more consistent as they age, these guys can be really good. But he just did a really good job in Jojo Rabbit. He had me in that part when he just in the beginning, he was just like, "Hi Hitler, hi Hitler, hi Hitler." Or, I don't know, just that kid is really talented, and I hope he does continue to do great things. I hope to see more stuff.
Well, he's gonna be in Home Alone, the new Home Alone reboot.
Okay. Yo, watch this. Watch Marvel pick him up one day.
It's possible. He's definitely in the Disney family now, so.
They're gonna be like, let's get him on the cheap right now. All right, let me throw in number one. You know what? I'm gonna say the obvious. We're gonna save the obvious for last.
Okay. Yeah, because we're both gonna have him.
Yeah. Number one would be Joaquin Phoenix. And again, I didn't enjoy the heck out of that movie, but his performance was pretty good. Not like Heath Ledger pretty good, because Heath Ledger's standard that probably no one will kind of top probably in 20 or 50 years. I can see someone topping, but not right now. But his portrayal of this version of Joker was really well done, and it's hilarious. It didn't creep me out, but it just made me uncomfortable. But uncomfortable in a good kind of way that he's doing his job well.
I definitely think. Sorry, go ahead.
Especially his dedication to the role, losing weight or just adding little subtle nuances to his body language. I really love that and appreciate it.
I definitely think he'll get a nomination. He's not in my list, but I think he'll get a nomination. I like Joaquin Phoenix a lot. I just feel like I've seen this performance before. I guess I haven't really, but I don't know. I just felt like I've seen it before. That's why I didn't put him in this category.
I can see where you're going from. Yeah, I agree with
you. My next pick is going to be Brad Pitt, who I think deserves 2 nominations this year, but this one not so much as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that's for Ad Astra. Much like Ryan Gosling in First Man, and in some other performances, but that's just an example that comes to mind in Space, and we were talking about that recently. He was a very restrained role, a reserved role, but he still gave so much of a performance without saying much, and just his look and his acting, and I thought it was really great.
You can tell also by his how his body is built physically.
Posture, yeah.
Just to add on, he wasn't in anything for me, just because I know he's not going to get nominated for it, but
right.
Just to add more to that, people criticize him for being bland as Ryan Gosling was in First Man. But I have nothing against for both what they did because that was part of their character.
Exactly, and people don't
I'm
really
taking away Ryan
understand.
Gosling for taking Ryan Gosling for get from this equation. Like Brad Pitt's character like has gone through like some stuff growing up. Yeah, like he has a really good job and he's living comfortably.
Yeah,
But this is someone who hasn't grown up with his father by his side, and he's doing something that like he watched his father do, and at the end to figure out his father really didn't give a shit about him pretty much.
yeah,
It's kind of heartbreaking, especially if you're going like I don't know like miles or light years whatever just to find your father, and to figure that out. And you're going through also like the psychological treatments and stuff. And your job doesn't fire you.
yeah.
I don't know. It just the character development for me that was it for the movie. Aside from the cinematography, and I want it to happen, but you know it's not gonna
It won't happen, but this is my top picks. Who's your next person?
happen. All right, my number two will be Leonardo DiCaprio.
Who is also in my top five?
Man, this man was making me laugh my ass off in that movie. Where he was like, who threw a half moon across the door next to me?
Which I want to shout out real quick too. I didn't mention that when we were talking about Tarantino. How this movie's not a comedy. Like a lot of people have mentioned it as a comedy. It has comedic elements and it's very funny. It's a very funny film, but it's a drama mostly, I think. And I think Tarantino deserves that with his writing and his directing. But yeah, like looking at DiCaprio's performance, like there's scenes that are so funny, but it's so dark too at the same time, and also scenes that are really sad and emotional, right? Like the scene with him breaking down in the trailer, which is his standout scene in the film, probably, right? Like that's incredible. It was hilarious, but it was also very dark, and it's like you can feel that character. You can relate to. I mean, I can relate to it too. Like being in that situation was like, man, I can't believe I fucked up that bad. And
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna do this. You're gonna fix that, or I'm gonna do this to myself. Like it's.
you're gonna show her.
I,
You're gonna show her that Ray Dolan ass. I don't know, like yeah, like this is probably the most I have to say other else than the obvious choice. But like for him, like when he was just playing, like when he was just being Rick Dalton, he was not confident about himself because he was just stuttering the whole entire time. But then when he was acting, he was just popping his chest out and still like being like he was playing that character without stuttering. Like he was like, all right, like at first I thought like DiCaprio fucking the drug or something while shooting this. No, that's just part of his character. And also like for character, like pretty much like Hollywood has moved on for him, and it's hard for him to like not moved on for him, but like it has involved, and it's hard for him. And he's having a difficult time involving with Hollywood because I don't know how to like
well, I guess to the next scene I was gonna talk about too, with him and the little girl, uh,
that. Yeah,
talking about the book and then how it relates to his life. Once again, they hit on comedic elements. It's funny, but it's also like really emotional, and you can relate to it.
that's gonna be you and thank you. What? Nothing. Nothing. All right, you go first. You go.
So let's see here. We've talked about three picks
That's
so
it too.
far. So we're not gonna. I'm gonna hold off on the last pick that I know we both have as our number one. So the next pick I'm gonna go with is Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems.
All right, you already said that for me.
Uncut Gems is good. It's a good film. It should have been better. The ending didn't do it for me. I didn't like the ending of the film, but Sandler's performance in that was incredible. I definitely want to see him get an Oscar nomination. He is so incredible when he's not doing his Happy Madison shit anymore, and he does an actual like acting role. Like, you look back at Punch Drunk Love, like that was an incredible full performance. Right Over Me was really good. Why doesn't he do more of these films? Uncut Gems, he is incredible in that film.
He's
Like,
actually good when he tries.
he is. He's such a good actor when he tries. Like, I want to see more. Imagine Adam Sandler in a Tarantino film. Mind blown. Like, that'd be
Wait,
incredible.
was he in it, but he had to drop out because I think he was making that Jack and Jill movie.
I don't think so. What would he have been in? That would have
He
only
was
been
in Jack and
Django at
Jill.
the time.
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, but what Tarantino movie are you talking about?
Inglourious Basterds. I think he was going to originally play the bear Jew.
I don't know. Jack and Jill came out in like 2011. It was a couple years after that. I
Yeah,
think.
but it was like, but I think he was right. I don't know, but like, he's just like, this man is actually. That's one of my complaints. Like when when Adam Sandler movie starts, my heart just starts pounding because I'm just like, oh no, I better not get the Happy Madison Productions. I better not get.
And the
If it's
thing is,
Happy
it's
Madison
like,
Productions, it's
even
time to
with
watch.
his comedies, like if it's a good comedy, I like it. I love Adam Sandler, but it's just like his comedies in recent years have just been bottom of the barrel garbage. I want to see Adam Sandler succeed,
He's doing
and
good.
yeah, and like it's nice to see him do something that's not just for the paycheck. And I recently saw where like Uncut Gems is like one of A24's highest making films now. Like people, and when I went to see it, it was a sold out theater. Like people want to see this movie. They want to see Adam Sandler in a drama role. Like people were excited even before that. I actually went to see the film when I was just watching the trailers, which the trailers were incredible. Even though I liked them more than I did the film, honestly overall. But people were watching it and they were just like loving his scenes. Like when that scene comes on where he's like, "Are you having fun?" He's like, "Yes." People loved it. Like they cracked up in the audience. I don't know. He delivers on every level, and it's different than anything he's done before, including Punch Drunk Love, which I like that film better, but this is probably Adam Sandler's best performance in Uncut Gems.
And I hope this like motivates him to do a bit more.
I hope
Not
so
like
too,
every 3 years.
and I hope it gives other
Not every 3 years,
directors.
but at least like once a year if he can. 'Cause I know he has a
Yeah,
contract with Netflix, but I really hope it motivates him and to eventually get nominated and hopefully win it.
yeah.
But just to add the fourth movie real quick, Robert De Niro, The Irishman. I really don't have nothing else to add to that.
Okay. He's not in my top. He's not in my picks, but I can see him being nominated.
Probably his best role since 30 Grandpa. All right, now you just want to do the obvious one after the fifth.
The obvious one, yes. Let's go ahead and say it. Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver is walking home. Well, he's definitely not walking home, but he's going home with an Oscar this year. If he doesn't, then somebody should just shit on the stage because he gave Brad Pitt's performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my favorite performance of the year. But Adam Driver in Marriage Story gave probably the best performance of the year.
Like, how was that original with the director? This movie was not improvised, and for an actor to I mean, crying command. That's just something you kind of just learn, like get into character and or just like years of mastering your craft. But for you to follow the script like word by word, action by action, it's really impressive. And like I don't know, like I know this one friend, she says Adam Driver was just terrible. Yeah, same face I had, but I don't know. She's used to watching Fast and Furious and shit, so whatever. But I don't like I'm gonna be honest with you, like he isn't necessarily like the best looking guy out there. But this man, Jesus Christ, he has talent, and that's something you cannot deny. and talent can and you could tell he has like mastered or he has improved his talent over years, and he's just gonna be like this upcoming decade or this upcoming years, he's gonna have the best time of his career. And like in that
Adam
scene when
Sandler
him
and
and Scarlett Johansson going at it, to like just like the emotions I was in that like man, especially when he just like slams the wall and he goes thinking, "You're fucking winning."
yeah,
This
that's
man,
probably the best performance. That's the best scene of the year, probably as far as like
especially
performances
like
go.
when he blade and everything.
Okay, that's my favorite scene of the movie because it's so funny, um, but also like really like emotional too. But
It,
the
it's
scene,
funny.
the scene where it's a fight, the fight between them two is so like incredibly written and well acted. That it's just like it's astonishing. And if somebody doesn't get an Oscar for that, it's a real fucking shame.
It's a, it's a real fucking shame, especially after the atrocity of Star Wars. This man better get something out of it. Like this man
Okay.
is America's Benedict Cumberbatch. You don't agree?
I don't know. I'm not a big Benedict Cumberbatch fan, but you know.
Fuck you.
Um,
What's the thing? Doctor Strange. Yes, he has earned that degree.
let's go on to Best Actress. I don't want to start with who I think should win yet,
This
so
is
I'm
the
going to
most
start with
obvious
just an
one.
honor. It's the most obvious. Well, I
Okay.
don't know. It depends. There's two very obvious ones that are going to be nominated, but only one that I actually think should. Before we get into that, I'm going to go into honorable mentions, and that's Charlize Theron for Bombshell, who like became Megyn Kelly. Obviously, she looks just like her in the film,
Why?
but performance is really good. I just don't think she should actually get a nomination. Now, my next person that I'm going to include is someone who I've already mentioned earlier. So she's probably going to get nominated for that category, not this category, but I think she should get nominated for this movie because this movie was underrated. People didn't pay enough attention to it, and her performance didn't get enough recognition. And that's Florence Pugh for Fighting with My Family. This was a film that like I didn't think I would really like that much. I'm not really into wrestling, uh, but I was blown away by it, and her performance was the standout of the film. So I really think she deserves some recognition for this film.
All right. This is the part where you're gonna be like, what the fuck, Bell?
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to fucking choose the people for this. So I'm just get away with the with the what the fuck section. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be my girl Lupita. You know,
Wait,
we
she
know
knows.
she we know she got nominated and won for 12 Years a Slave, but she's nomination for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now she had a good performance for a mediocre ass film, or probably good. I don't know. I don't know from what. Uh, what's his name again? The director,
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. Probably the movie's good, but what he had from like from Get Out to now, it was just like what the hell, dude. But it was still a solid film. But anyway,
Yeah,
her performance,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
her performance was still really good, especially when you go out like at the end where you kind of go like, oh, so that was the okay, all right. But anyways, just from the eyes and everything, it was a solid performance. If it gets a nomination, I'll be like, I don't care because we already know who's gonna win it. But you know, it's just
Yeah,
one of
the
those things.
only
Like,
thing I think Lupita should be nominated for, as far as us goes, is a Razzie.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I did not like her performance at all. Like that whole voice that she was doing, I just thought was awful. When she's playing the other character, I thought she was pretty good, but I don't know. Us overall, I think it also should have been a miniseries and not a movie.
I got five on it.
I love the trailers. I love that song. As the movie just didn't work for me.
A piece of shit at me now.
But
That's good. That's all.
I wouldn't be surprised if she got a nomination though. So the next
Mexico too.
The next person I'm going to mention is Anna de Armas. I think it's how to pronounce her name.
Oh.
For Knives Out.
Okay.
She's definitely.
Okay, so I was conflicted here when it came to her. I was thinking about having her on there, right? But then I was just like, there's no way in hell the Academy's going to put her on there. She isn't my honorable mention, though.
Probably not, but I think she should be nominated. I've been a fan of her for a while. Loved her performance in Blade Runner. And she's just continuing to knock it out of the park. And I thought she delivered a very, very good performance in Knives Out that you can just feel her performance. And it's a very well-written script, but you have to, in a movie like that, in any movie, I feel like you have to have a character that's likable. And in a film that's full of unlikable characters, you follow her, and it really works for me. I can't wait to see also what she does with the Marilyn Monroe movie that she's making next year. Or this year, maybe, I guess.
You should check out some of her work that she does in Spanish.
I would definitely check it out. She's an incredible actress. I also think she was my pick to be Catwoman, but it's not happening now. But we'll see what she does.
I don't know. You never know. Probably someone will pull a groin or something in the last minute. You never know. All right. You may probably have to help me here with pronunciation, but she was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Keira Knightley?
Keira Knightley?
Yeah.
What was Keira Knightley?
Let me check her. She was in this check my letterbox. I just watched it today.
Was it like the Secrets movie, Hidden Secrets or something? It was like a
yeah. It was like about the British NSA with the Iraq War and all that.
Okay.
Maybe with that, like, man, like, I want to say her performance was like her underwear just got wet or anything. But like if she gets nominated, it's just one of those just like all right, like Mama Me face, not bad. Like if you win it though, I won't be mad, but I'm not gonna agree with it though. But I'm not gonna throw like me throwing my water bottle when Rami Malek won it. Well, yeah, dude, man, you need to watch that movie, man. Like, Jesus, man, I just hate the NSA, and I don't know what they're watching right now. So, all right. But yeah, man, consider watching that movie like every few times. I wouldn't just say like me being in a rush, but yeah, watch it, man. Whenever you get the chance.
Okay. The next person I want to mention is Sienna Miller for American Woman. Have you watched that?
What is she seeing? Jeremy Maguire?
No. Are you thinking about Renee Zellweger?
Oh, okay.
Who is going to get nominated? She will get nominated for Judy, which I watched Judy recently, and it's a good film. Her performance is really good. She's probably going to get nominated. She's probably going to, I don't know. Like it's right now. I feel like honest opinions of who actually is going to get nominated and win. It's going to be between Renee Zellweger and Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. But we'll see what happens. But Sienna Miller, like I said, really good performance in an American Woman. Most people haven't seen it, but she plays a mother. She actually plays a very young grandmother in the film to begin with. And I don't want to give anything away because I didn't know anything about the film going in. And it was such a emotional ride, and just a film that you could watch and like you see new stuff happening as you go along. You don't expect it. I definitely recommend it. And she's an actress that's like came on the spotlight recently. She was in American Sniper as well, as Bradley Cooper's wife in that film, which is she was really good in, and a couple other things, Mississippi Grind. She's really good, and I can't wait to see more of her work moving forward. Do you have? Okay, I have two more. You have two more?
I have three more, but I can knock the third and the fifth. The third and fourth real quick.
Okay.
All right. The third one will be the what's that chick again for Lady Bird, the lead actress.
Okay, she's also in my top 5, and that is Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I just think she's gonna get nominated just because she is phenomenal.
She is phenomenal, and she should get nominated.
And I think, yeah. And my fourth will be Awkwafina from The Farewell. This action scene, and for her to make this transition from comedy to drama, but yet the movie still has this comedic elements to it. And she just did a good job, especially like I can kind of relate to her, like being from another country, moving here and being Americanized from the just Americanized from the culture and everything. And now, like it's like either visiting or having family members here, you kind of have that like your family, but you still have that barrier or something because like I grew up here, but you were over there and all that, and we missed birthdays and stuff like that. Basically, I find her relatable in this movie, but man, like she was just really good in this movie, dude. Like, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen The Farewell yet, which is unfortunate because I feel like it's gonna. A lot of people are talking about it for a couple of different categories, including Best Actress, and I need to check it out before the Oscars actually happen, especially if it gets nominated. But either way, I want to watch it. You know, it's an A24 film, so I'll have to check it out at some point.
Really good, man. Really good.
Oh yeah. So we get to our last pick, right? Which we both have at number 1. Like that's our win, right?
That's our for sure win.
And that's Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. You want to go ahead and talk about it?
Do we really have to say anything? Like shit.
I mean, do we really have to say? Like I said, going back to, or like we said earlier, the fight scene between her and Adam Driver in that in his apartment. That's the performance you play for both of them at the Oscars. Like it just rips you apart emotionally. Like it's so well written but incredibly acted. All of her scenes in the movie, you can believe it. You can feel it, and I think that's all you really want from a performance. And both of them do bad things, but yet you still root for them both at the same time, and you still want them to be friends by the end of the film. And I think like only their acting together can make you believe that, feel that way.
Like you go from like what Adam Driver's character did was bad and stuff, but if you kind of take that from the equation, what both of them did was terrible, as you said, but you kind of go like, okay, you can kind of see where they're coming from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like that movie doesn't like for me. What it didn't have me pick a specific side. Well, at the moment, like the movie, I was just like bouncing around, but then I think kind of go like, oh, like both of you have your issues, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so our next category is Best Original Screenplay. For this category, I'm going to start with Knives Out, which I would nominate for Best Original Screenplay. I don't think it's going to get nominated. What's that? I don't think it's going to get nominated. I think it should. It's very original. It takes something that we kind of know with this murder mystery, but put an original spin on it. It's such a fun ride. It's got emotion in it. It's got a thrill, comedy, drama, sadness. It's everything you want from a night out of the movies. Definitely think it should get nominated. Can't wait to see if Rian Johnson makes more of these films. Um, but it's the one. If I had to knock one out of the top five, it would be the one I would knock out.
And well, you already said number one, but just to add on from it, you don't see very much. We don't see a lot of those kind of movies a lot nowadays. I mean, probably like the last one was what Murder on the Orient Express, but that movie was just like it was. I. But most of these like those whodunit kind of those movies are mostly on books nowadays, and to see something like that now, it was quite refreshing. And some of the elements of the film was quite surprising. Like I expected for it to have comedy, but not a lot of comedy. Well, more than what I expected.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since you already said my number one, it's at number two, and it will be Booksmart.
Booksmart, okay. Didn't make it in mine, but it was good. It was a very good screenplay.
Yeah, it was just a good one, man. Man, that part was when they were like in the bathroom when she was just like, well, I got accepted in Harvard. He was just like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know. Like I got some job offers from Google and Facebook. I don't know. And she just like, what? It was I don't know. Just like these girls spent the whole entire high school career just studying, while these other like popular kids just partied like hell.
Yeah.
But still like maintain pretty good grades. And I don't know. For me, like it had elements from Superbad, but it still found its way to separate itself from that.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so that's my number two choice.
So the next one I'm going to throw out is definitely going to be nominated, and that is Parasite. Like it's just an incredible story. It was one of those where it's like when you look at screenplays, you look at two things. You look at the story and you look at the dialogue. Or at least that's what I look at. Now, overall, you want something that touches on both. But what's most important to me is dialogue. But we've seen in the past, the story is also very important to the Academy. Get Out was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. It was a good screenplay. I don't think it necessarily should have been nominated, but the reason it was nominated was because it was such an original story, and I think Parasite hits that. And for this category, is it's such an original story. It touches on classism. It's something I've never seen a film like it before. The characters are very well written. You can believe it all as far as why these characters would do these actions, and it's very surprising. And it's kind of like when I was talking about Knives Out being a thrill, a ride. Parasite like that too, where it was you watch trailers and you get kind of what the film is going to be about, but then when you're in it, you don't know where it's headed. You're on a ride going in the dark and you don't know what's happening, and then you get to the end and you're like, wow, I can't believe this is the way this movie went. So I definitely think it should be nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
All right, I'm gonna say a 2 and a 3 here.
Okay.
2, Marriage Story.
Marriage Story is on my list too. It's my second choice to win. So I'm going to talk about it fourth.
Yeah,
But
we all know way. We already basically talked about it. So yeah, the third one will be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my choice to win Best Original Screenplay. It's one of my favorite screenplays of all time. Um, we've talked about it a lot, how it hits on all these different kind of genre categories. It's a movie about friendship. It's a love letter to Hollywood. Um, if you know, it's a fairy tale about Hollywood as well, about Sharon Tate, and about the end of the '60s, and just pretty much everything I really like it has in this film. But the characters are written very cool too. You know, Brad Pitt's awesome. It's just I can't believe that somebody was able to sit down and write this. It's just such an amazing screenplay.
It was mostly heavily dialogue driven.
Yes, it's very heavily dialogue driven, which I love. And one thing I also want to mention too is something like some films don't understand, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. When I go see a movie, I want to see a satisfying ending to the film. Now, it doesn't mean that movie has to be a happy ending. Take La La Land, for example. La La Land has recently moved up to my fourth favorite film of all time. I love La La Land so much. It doesn't have a happy ending. I'm not well. I mean, it's from your perspective, but it's you know kind of a bittersweet ending. But it's not necessarily happy. But it's satisfying. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has such a satisfying ending. I was on the edge of my seat when I was watching this film in that last scene because we know what happens in real life. Okay, so then this final thing in the film happens. You know, there's a dog involved. I love dogs, and I'm like, is this is something gonna happen to this pit bull? Like what? And everything happens like I want it to happen. It was so incredible. And then it made me just like recently look at like Tarantino's other films too, and like they all end in a satisfying way. And I think that's the best way to write a screenplay.
All right. I messed up. That was actually my third or fourth, but to kick pretty much to end it off with my fifth pick, it'll
Huh?
be Jojo Rabbit.
Now is Jojo Rabbit your choice to win? We haven't really
Um,
been talking about a choice to win, but I'm just
well,
curious.
my choice to pick will be Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
Uh, but Jojo Rabbit will be like my nomination. I think you get a nomination because really the
Well,
cast.
actually, hold on. I want to stop you real quick. Jojo Rabbit's not in Best Original Screenplay. It's in Best
It's
Adapted.
not. Oh,
No, it's an adapted screenplay.
that's a bitch. All right. At Parasite, I haven't seen it. Let's move on.
Because I was really confused by myself. I'm tired, so I was confused. I'm like, I didn't put Jojo Rabbit in that category, and then yeah, okay. Real quick, the last film that I have in the best original screenplay category is Peanut Butter Falcon. Have you watched Peanut Butter Falcon? Yep.
Not yet.
I don't know if I've already asked you that, but that's it's based in North Carolina. It was filmed in Georgia, I believe. It's such a small, intimate film with so much heart. Um, it's a movie that you can feel. You feel like you're there with the characters, um, and you feel like you kind of know all the characters just from watching the film. It was a really very good small story that I think deserves to be recognized. It won't be nominated because I don't think enough people watched it, but it should get a nomination for Best Original Screenplay. Um, but yeah, so that transitions us into the next category, which is Best Adapted Screenplay, and now I think we both have Judge Rabbit on that list.
Yeah. Just throwing an honorable mention, The Two Popes. I fell asleep in that movie around the third act. But that's another story for another time. But number one, yeah, Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit, I think, at least mine is a lock. Lock to get nominated, but to me, it should win Best Adapted Screenplay.
Man, keep this in mind. This is a Disney movie. It's a Fox movie.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Do you know what kind of balls you need to make like a movie about pretty hard, sensitive subject, but still make it like add some comedic to it, but then for it to be tragic from parts we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, like for me it was just risky, and I appreciate whenever there are risky movies like that, as long as they know how to do it right. Obviously, it's like with a if you're gonna joke about something like anything, to be honest, like when it comes from like politics to your gender to anything, like I believe there's nothing wrong to joke about that, but as long as you have a perfect scapegoat or a perfect way to end that joke or movie, whatever, you should be fine.
Yeah. It depends on where that joke is coming from, you know? Is
Yeah,
it meant to
yeah,
be mean, or is it like, do you know what you're doing?
yeah. They're like that's, and I appreciate it. It's like this is like the Holocaust movie for the family,
Yeah, really it is. Like it's
and like and especially like the times we live in now, I think it's kind of like that thing. I recommend to anyone, especially like to me, it's really relevant to the times we live in, and especially to the 'cause, like I'm mostly like I'm not conservative myself anyway. Or this isn't like
are you sure?
this isn't like necessarily like a jab to like conservatives out there or conservatism, but I know kids that have well, not all. Let's just go with the super radical conservatives, and I know kids like they're pretty good-hearted kids, and we know people, and we know someone. I'm not gonna say any names, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They have a good heart, but they're just like that because of their parents.
Yeah. I really think JoJo. I don't think it will. Well, we'll get into that in a second. Um, real quick, I'm just going to spit off the next like 4 films that I think should be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. I'm not. Well, okay. The first one I'm going to say is Toy Story 4. I am passionate about that one because I thought Toy Story 4 was perfect. I think it's the second best in that franchise. The first one because it's so original and I grew up with it, but Toy Story 4 really hit me, man. And like it, I think all of those films hit me when they needed to hit me. Even though the first one came out the year I was born, so I watched it a little later, but they all hit me when they needed to hit me. You know, the third one was about growing up, and now with the fourth one, it's about kind of where I was in my life, where it was like you're in a relationship and you're moving away and you're saying bye to the people that you've been around all your life and you're moving on to different places, and that's what this film kind of was about, was finding your purpose in life and then moving on. I thought it was incredible, and I think it should deserves a adapted screenplay nomination. um, the other ones I want to throw out real quick is Little Women. I think Greta Gerwig did something really special with that film. The next one I want to throw out is Doctor Sleep, which won't get a nomination, but I think it was incredible. Uh, and the last one I'm going to say is The Irishman, which definitely will get nominated and has a very good chance of winning, but it should not beat Jojo Rabbit. And that's my list for adapted screenplay.
All right, let me knock my 4 out. You already said one for me, Little Woman. Uh, there's another one you already said for me, The Irishman. Uh, so, what's this? The other one will be The Joker.
Okay.
I don't think it should get nominated, but I just have a feeling it will.
Most likely.
And my last one would be Avengers Endgame.
For adapted screenplay? Okay. I wouldn't be
Now,
mad.
me and you had our sayings about Black Panther, but for this I feel
Well, Black Panther did get nominated for screenplay. It got nominated for Best Picture.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
But I feel like, man, like, I don't know, man, like that move was like a fourth, fourth and 10 kind of film for me because like, look, if you get that fourth and 10, you're like that best for that drive. But if you fail that fourth and 10, and you have one of your receivers drop the pass, you are done for. And these fools threw the ball, and one of them caught it. And my God, the payoff in this movie, man. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I wish like Infinity War literally got nominated for at least adapted screenplay or best picture. But you know, like how superhero films are now nowadays.
Okay.
They're
Let's
not
let's let
cool, I assume, but
let's let
I don't know,
have. Hold on. Sorry. Did you say all your four?
yeah, basically already knocked them out. You said it. You said two for me already, so yeah.
Let's have that as a transition into Best Picture, which I'm assuming that we both have this film in our Best
Yeah.
Picture, and that's Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Look at the fact that it's like the culmination of all of these films and this franchise, but then also look at it as an individual film too, and it's a movie about overcoming failure, obviously, like overall, and like overcoming failure and uniting with your team and your friends to do something.
Like you're united for a common goal.
Yes. And what I like to do, for one thing, when I like to look at Best Pictures, I like to look at all the different categories, and you start with Avengers as far as that goes, and you look at the acting. The acting was really good. You said you would nominate Chris Evans. I would throw out Robert Downey Jr. as a possible nomination. Scarlett Johansson was incredible in it. Josh Brolin, although I do think his performance in Infinity War was better, his performance was really good in Endgame. Everybody in this film was good. The visual effects were outstanding. Action was good. The directing was good. The adapted screenplay you said you would nominate it for. The score was really good. Their overall story was great. When you add all those things in, I think it deserves a Best Picture nomination.
And it has the elements of Best Picture.
Yeah. And it's also like, a film, too, like you said, with the elements, it's like, is it a film that people will watch over and over the coming years and like get a message from it and like feel something from it?
And it's plus like every time whenever I rewatch it, I see something I didn't see on my fifth viewing.
Yeah.
But it's just like the movie never gets old, especially like when they all come together and that portal scene is just like you just feel like a kid again. Like you feel like that. Like in my case, I feel like that 10-year-old or 11-year-old just seeing them come together in that first Avengers. And
it's a film that's able to capture big, epic moments like that portal scene, or the action scenes in the movie, but then also catch smaller moments like we mentioned earlier with the breakfast scene and like with Cap and Tony, and then also the scene at the end, which, spoiler, if you haven't seen this movie, you're probably not going to watch it, but the scene where Tony dies, that scene breaks my heart every time I watch it, and it's partly because we've been invested with all of these characters, but just everything about that scene, the way it was shot, the acting, the way it was directed, the writing, Tony going down, Peter coming over to him, Rhodey kind of taking Peter to the side, so that, and then Pepper coming over, and Pepper, telling Tony it's okay to like that fucks me up. That scene every time fucks me up.
And the thing that fucks me up is that last last 6 minutes when old man Cap like man when he hands
You
that
talking about Joe
shield
Biden?
to him, huh?
Are you talking about Joe Biden?
What? No, it's just like that scene when he just hands Sam the shield and like jump. Well, just to add a little bit to it, it's just like it felt really nice, and they did real quick that they did a really good job passing the mantle to other characters.
Yeah.
But in those for me, man, like I cried and I teared up a little bit when he handed that shield to Sam, and he was just like, "How does it feel? Like it's someone else's." And, like like this. Well, Sam said like it's like someone else's, and like Cap just said like, "Well, it isn't." Like that dialogue exchange I had to, and then from the last dance, it was well, it was really satisfying. Like especially for a guy who grew up in war and has basically known war, or at least I want to say he had a miserable life or anything, but his life was mostly filled with downs. Like he lost friends, he lost his parents, but for him to at least have that one dance. Oh, and he lost Tony, but for him to at least have that dance, it's just, you can help but just smile for the guy. And it was also a great conclusion for that saga. And I also love how the song fit the movie and the character. Because it's the guy putting his shield down, coming back from war, and just coming to his love, and just like it's been a very very long time. Like it goes like kiss me once, kiss me twice, kiss me when it's all over again, something like that. But yeah, I just yeah, there's everything to love about this movie, especially if you kept up with his characters. Unless you're Martin Scorsese, you might be able to watch.
I'm gonna go ahead and spit off a couple more and not really go that much into them, but I just want to say that I would nominate them for Best Picture. That's Ad Astra. I would nominate for Best Picture because I think the acting, the directing, cinematography, all of that were incredible in the film. Toy Story 4, which I mentioned how it hit me, I would nominate it. Parasite, I would nominate Parasite. That's a incredible screenplay. The directing was incredible. The acting was very good from everybody involved. And the next one I'm going to say is Ford versus Ferrari, another film where I hit on every level. You got directing, you got the acting, the story was good. It was a great American story, crowd pleaser. Ford versus Ferrari, which I'm kind of not set on that anymore, but when I first saw it, I was like, I think this film might win Best Picture. Not that it was my pick to win Best Picture, but it was a film that I felt like could do it. It could get there. I mean, you had Green Book win last year, which was not even probably half as good as Ford versus Ferrari. But it won because it was like this American film that was supposed to be this feel-good audience pleaser. And Ford versus Ferrari is that, but much better. And the next one we'll mention is Peanut Butter Falcon, which, like I said earlier, it's a great, small, intimate story that has great dialogue, has a great story, has great acting. It's very well directed. It would be incredible to see a film like this, make it into the Best Picture category. With that being said, I have 3 more movies that I want to talk about, but I'll let you go ahead and say some of them beforehand.
I'm probably just gonna knock the rest of mine out real quick.
Okay, well, they're probably all going to be in mine, so.
All right, I'm just gonna knock all of them, like from the last 7. Wait, the last 9.
Okay.
Jojo Rabbit, Uncut Gems, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Joker, The Irishman, Parasite, which to me will be the winner, Ford vs. Ferrari, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Marriage Story, the one that I believe should win, to be honest. Parasite is like the obvious one, but like for me, like Marriage Story is like the hard that I want and still should win.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the film that I want to win. And I definitely think it's going to get a nomination for sure, but I don't think it's going to win. Jojo Rabbit is a film that I can see it winning if you take into the reason that a movie should win Best Picture, right? So like you could show this in like schools, you can show this to kids, you can, despite the topic, it's like it's a learning experience. It's a film that I think kids should watch and understand something from it. It's a film that anybody should watch and really learn something from it. It's just great all around. It's a great movie going experience, but it's a great learning experience, I think. I don't know. I really think people should watch it. And Marriage Story is the last film I'll talk about, which I think has a very strong possibility of winning. But we'll see.
Yeah, this Academy's not going to let a movie from Netflix win.
I don't know. But, it's got a great story, and it's got great acting. It's got great directing. I really like the cinematography in Marriage Story. It feels like I'm watching a photograph half the time, and I love that. But going back to what you said, you think Parasite is going to win?
Yeah. I think for me that would be like taking away our emotions. The way I think that would be like the obvious one. I haven't seen it, but I just the way people talking about it, Chris talking about it.
I don't think Parasite will win.
The director's the critic's darling is the guy.
I wouldn't be mad if it won, I guess, but it's for sure locked to win Best Foreign Film. And I think you kind of get into a situation like you did last year with Roma, which I think Parasite's a better film than Roma, but I think you get in the kind of same thing where it's like they're going to let it win Best Foreign Film, but then they're going to be like, well, if it won Best Foreign Film, do we really want it to win Best Picture? It's kind of the same thing, too, with Toy Story 4. It's like Toy Story 4 is locked to win Best Animated Film, so it's definitely not going to win Best Picture if it even gets nominated.
About that. Frozen 2 might get that win.
Oof. I'll be pissed.
I want you to record your reaction.
Frozen 2 wasn't... What?
I want Sarah to record that reaction.
Frozen 2 wasn't bad, but it wasn't a good film either. It was definitely not on the same quality as the first Frozen.
But man, I don't know, like the year ended off really well. Movie. I had a slow start, but now it's ended really well.
I think it's a good year. It's been a good year for film.
Well,
I definitely think so. Okay, so to wrap things up, I really want to go real quick between each category, starting with Best Supporting Actor, and just give who we think should win each category.
Right.
So with Best Supporting Actor, my pick to win is Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Brad Pitt.
Best Supporting Actress, my pick is Florence Pugh for Little Women.
Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit.
Okay. Best Cinematography, my pick is Robert Richardson for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
1917.
Okay.
Cinematography.
Best Director, this is a very hard one, but I am going to go with Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm sorry, Tarantino.
It hurts me because I do want. I love. I would not be upset if Tarantino won, but as far as just directing, I'm gonna go with Bong Joon-ho for that Parasite. Best actor. I think we both agree on this one. Adam Driver. Marriage
Adam
Story.
Driver.
Best actress. Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Gonna walk out with 2 trophies that night.
Best original screenplay. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for me. For you too?
No, I just want to say at the same time as you.
Oh.
Well, this one's for me. Like I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would win. To be honest, it will win. But deep down, man, I want Avengers Inc. to win this really bad.
Original screenplay or adapted?
Oh, original screenplay?
We're talking about original screenplay.
Oh, Once Upon a Time.
Okay. Now we get to best adapted screenplay. So your choice is Avengers Endgame. My choice is Jojo Rabbit for best adapted screenplay. Okay. Final pick, best picture. I have to do it, and it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But my second choice would be Marriage Story.
All right. My first choice will be Marriage Story. My second choice, you're going to hate me for this, Jojo Rabbit. And my third would be Once Upon a Time.
I mean, it's not what I would pick, but I wouldn't hate you for doing that. Like, Jojo Rabbit is an incredible film. And it's like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, I think, a better film overall, in my opinion. But if you're looking at films that you're going to Jojo Rabbit's a film that you can show your family. Yeah. You can't really show Once Upon a Time to your family.
Now the only reason why I'm saying this, well, I guess I'm just being a bit more democratic here, is because it's going to win original screenplay Once Upon a Time. Oh, I think so. And if it does, it's not going to get a best picture. So pretty much that's why I'm ranking Jojo Rabbit higher than Once Upon a Time.
You don't think Jojo is going to win best adapted?
I mean, he's going to get nominated, but I don't think he's going to walk out there.
You think Irishman's going to beat it?
Like, to be realistic, yes, it's going to be Irishman.
I don't know. We'll talk about this more, too. After January 7th, the Oscar nominations, I believe, come out. And then we're going to do a video talking about our reaction to those nominations and what we think should win based off those nominations. I think The Irishman is going to get a lot of nominations. I don't think it's going to get a lot of wins. But I don't really want to get into that yet because I can't even wrap my head around that right now. The only thing I really think The Irishman is most deserving for is Al Pacino, and I don't even think that should be a win.
Yeah, man, that haircut Al Pacino had in that movie. They do look like one of the chickens from Pokemon.
But that's our episode today. We're at 2 hours. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with talking more about movies.
Probably shorter time.
Probably. Let's hope so.
As long as we get into it.